All right, we are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have Debbi DiMaggio with us. This is going to be a little bit different of an episode because there's so many different ways. We always talk about the different ways of creating a business in real estate. Tons of different asset classes, tons of ways to do it. A lot of people, when you're just getting started out, you are thinking about how can I create cash flow? How can I create an income in real estate? When you're doing investing, you tend to need a lot of money. So many people say you can do it without money. That is not the case. You definitely need money. So a lot of people run into that situation where they want to be an investor, but they don't know how to create money in real estate up to that point. One of the options is becoming an agent, real estate agent, working in real estate that way. Debbi is an expert in that with over 35 years of selling real estate down in sunny California in the Bay Area. She has over 80 agents under her. She also does coaching, and she's on the investing side. She has a couple multifamily properties with some single family, so she understands management. So it's going to be a good episode. Debbi has a lot of experience that we can go into. So Debbi, thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Gabe.
Yeah, absolutely. I told you right before we got on here, we like to start with stories. So why don't you take us to the beginning of your real estate story? How'd you get started?
All right. Well, the only thing I knew when I was growing up is what I did not want to do. I did not want to be in real estate.
Okay.
And here I am.
Funny how life works.
Yes. I did not want to be in real estate. My dad was a syndicator and an investor, and he was back then, remember, there were no cell phones. So he was tied to
syndicating was cool. Yeah.
He was tied to his phone, his landline, and visiting people in person. And there was no email or text messaging. So my life was, he was tied to that. And so I was like, I never want to do this. And of course, he went through ups and downs market. So I went through those with him, and visiting shopping centers, after school, and him trying to get the shopping center full, and kind of cheerleading his investors, who not his investors, but his partner, who got really devastated by it. So it's a stressful time, but he has been in it. My dad has been in it for over 60 years. And then fast forward, I got into rentals. I kind of fell into rentals. I got my license, wasn't going to do anything with it, just was going to get it, fell into rentals, loved the fast turnover, loved working with people, loved meeting new people every day. Everything was different. It'd be a new person, some new thing, looking at property, just putting puzzles together. So then we moved over from San Francisco to the East Bay, and then got into sales, was doing a lot of relocation, and just continued to flourish with it, and said, I love it. And it was nice not having a boss, and I don't mind working really hard. And that was something I really wanted to do. And I'm always working, I'm always creating. And so it feeds my soul even after 35 years.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear. If you still like doing something after 35 years, that means you made a good choice at some point along the road. So
yeah,
great to hear. Becoming an agent is something that is in the back of pretty much every investor's minds that I've spoken with. I don't have my license. I've been, being a real estate investor without actually going the route of getting the license. But I have, I've signed up for that course so many times thinking that, I should just do it. But I just never pulled the trigger. So
I'm going to connect you with my guy after the meeting, and you're going to get your license, and you're going to hang your license with us.
There you go. So one question that I have on that line is, you've spoken with tons of people on both sides of the line, being an agent and an investor. What are the benefits for people who are doing the investing side? They're going out there, they're looking for properties to flip, to buy, to hold, all that kind of stuff. What are the benefits for them getting a license as a real estate agent?
Oh, okay. So getting a license, like you should have a license. You're talking to people every day, all day long. Real estate is about developing relationships, as you know. So when you get a license, you're already talking to other real estate agents. That's where the deals happen. You're hearing of things, your boots on the ground, you're hearing about deals. So when you have a license, so I was at a cocktail party actually 2 weeks ago during Christmas, and I was telling this guy, he has a ton of contacts, and he has a niche because he's from Egypt, but he has a lot of friends and family here. I said, get your license. There's all those people, even if you don't practice. So this is number one. Even if you don't practice real estate, you get your license and you refer me your friends and family, I will pay you a 25% referral fee. You don't have to do anything. You connect me.
Oh, right. Because, right.
You get a referral fee. So
right.
then I connected him the day after the cocktail party and connected him with Shane to get his license. He's working on it now. I think now we'll see what happens. People don't always follow through, but now he's excited to hang his license with us and get started selling real estate. But don't forget, the low-hanging, easiest thing you could do is get your license and give referral. So if we're talking right now and you start meeting all these different agents and you say, oh, I know this person. I interviewed Debbi DiMaggio. She's in the East Bay. She has been practicing for 35 years over there. You're in good hands. You will get a 25% referral fee for that referral, doing nothing. You keep doing your life and nothing changes. All you did was make a connection with another realtor, or it could be with another buyer or seller. So it's really great to just have your license, and work it as you want. The next level is when you are a realtor, which is, you're meeting people and you're showing property. This has happened to us over the years. Is we'll see a home, and for some reason, buyers all want to flock to the same house. They always, if a house is sitting, what's wrong with it? We've always bought that house that was sitting. And we make it the way we want.
They're willing to negotiate if it's been sitting on the market
like
for 60 days.
We bought our house that was not staged. The only people who made the offer on the house I'm in right now, there were 3 or 4 real estate agents. The typical buyer could not see through it because they couldn't see what you could do to it. I looked past that. So that's where you get the deal. And we've done it in the past with there was a cute little house and we were telling people this is such a great deal. No one could see it. We said, fine, we'll buy it and flip it. And we did. So obviously not all agents have an eye for that, or not all people have an eye for that. But if you could, and if someone wanted to call me up and say, I see this property, what do you think? What could I do to it? I can look on FaceTime or walk through a house and tell you exactly what I would do. So you have to look for those homes that aren't, during like over Christmas time when things are a little slower. That's the time to come in. Those people are motivated, get a deal. And if you have to, hold it for a while, rent it out. And then maybe after a year, the market's better, then sell it or keep it and hold it. Similarly goes to a house. We're on vacation in Scottsdale, Arizona. Now we're a 2.5-hour flight away, but we were on vacation. And after a couple of days looking at property for fun, just to get out of the sun, because as realtors, we love to look at property, even on vacation, we ended up 2 days later buying a lot. And we built a house. That was not in the plan. That was not something we thought ever about doing. It just was an opportunity that presented itself. And we said, after we build it, if we can't afford to keep it, we'll sell it or we'll rent it or we'll enjoy it. We ended up enjoying it for over 10 years. And it was really a wonderful family affair. So, and then after that, my dad bought 2 of his own down there and he still has today, and he continues to rent them out. So there's just so many opportunities. You just have to be on the lookout for it.
Yep, absolutely. And I like that you mentioned the referral side of the business, because that's something that I always forget that agents can do with each other, is that you have this reciprocity. Does it work across state lines, or is that
it does?
Licensed? Okay.
I'm closing a deal right now, February 1st in Southampton, which is all the way across the United States. I have a friend here in Oakland, and she has a house in Southampton, and it was time to sell. And so I referred her one of my colleagues out in Southampton, and we're closing. And I'll get a referral fee. I mean, I connected them, and I connected 2 people I really like, and I oversaw it for a little bit until they kind of got comfortable with each other. And it feels really good to connect your friends and family and people who, clients who need a referral, because there's lots of us out there, but not all of us are really good or really care. Some people, it's like a money thing. Yes, you have to make money in life, but I really care. And so I always want to make sure I'm matching the right person with the right agent.
Yeah, very cool. So it's like I do self-storage, mobile home RV parks, some land, some single family, but mostly on the commercial side. If if I let's say I get licensed in Washington State, I'm not able to say I market for properties in Illinois and I got a seller, we can't agree on price. I can't say, hey, I'll list your property, because then I would have to be licensed
No. Yeah,
in Illinois. But
you can't list it, but you can
I could
refer.
refer it
And
to.
then if you're going to stay, let's say, if I'm going to refer and I don't want any part of the deal, I just want to, I mean, I'm going to take my 25%, but I'm not going to be involved because I'm going to let them do their deal. However, if you're very involved with this person and you want to help be more involved, you and the agent in Illinois could split it 50-50, because if you're going to be really involved in the deal, then negotiate something different. It would be a referral fee, though. You're not representing. They would draw the contracts and stuff, but if you had to stay in the deal because of personality or because you had developed this relationship with this person that they wanted you to stay in, typically you'd refer it. But so you can negotiate all kinds of different things.
That's interesting. I knew you couldn't list it, but I didn't know you could just doesn't matter if you're licensed in the state, you can still
get a referral.
That referral fee from across the line.
And there's a form, and I can send you a form so you can see what it looks like, just so you're more familiar.
Yeah, I mean that right there is reason itself for every investor to get their license, because I don't know how many deals that I've kind of like let go because it just didn't fit my bill, and I didn't have a buyer pool in that area, so I didn't wholesale it. If I could have just reached out to some brokers, it might have gone through.
There's a whole career there for you.
There you go.
You're leaving a lot of money on the table.
All right, I'm going to keep going down the line on the brokerage side. I know this is the Real Estate Investing Club, but a lot of people are interested on being an agent, being a broker in the investing, because it is, it's a great way to do real estate. So I know this is a number of years ago, 35 years ago, but if you remember back to when you were just starting, and you had no clients, you had no book, how did you go about creating that book of business, those first few clients that you can kind of use to create a snowball effect and build, to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of, everyone has a niche how they fall into it. But so mine was unique at the time because it was before email, it was before texting, it was a whole different time. And relocation companies, there were a lot of relo companies that were, brick and mortar relocation companies. Now there's the relo is, people out of their homes and they're kind of helping with relocation, but it's different. I just got a call one day to help with rentals with a relocation company, and they had tons of people relocating into California at the time. And then later there was people relocating out, but for one of the big clients was DFS, Duty Free Shopping, which is Louis Vuitton, LVH, or they were coming in, DFS were those stores in the airports, and they had so many people, they were relocating here. So I started by showing them rentals, and then eventually I parlayed that relocation business into sales. And then people started moving out. So then I had sold them the house to come, and then sold them the house when they left. And it was a lot of relo business. And even 35 years later, we started out doing rentals, my husband and I, and we did that for quite some time. And then we started doing sales, but we never gave up the rentals, because you're helping clients, you're meeting new people that might eventually buy. It's a great way. You don't make a ton of money, but you do build relationships. So don't give up the rental side of it all. You make a small commission, but you do meet people, and it's all about meeting people. I have to share this story with you. So I'm at an open house. This is, oh my gosh, it was probably 20 with a 25-year gap. I was living in San Francisco, pretty newly married. I was showing rentals, and you're so busy in rentals, especially in San Francisco, you're running around showing property. And when I know something, I just want to be really specific and upfront to help the client get what they need. So I had this guy, and he's like, and I don't remember the story. He told me this 20 years later when I bumped into him. He said, you told me like there's competition on this rental. the landlords are going to want you because you're a single guy, you travel all the time, you're always working, you're going to have low wear and tear on the home, you have no pet. I said, you need to get over here. This is my younger self saying this to this guy. I was like in my 20s. I said, you need to come over here now. You need to meet the owner. You need to tell them about you. He ended up getting the apartment. I don't remember any of that, but he said, oh, you made me write a love letter, which that was a thing that's come recently. I made him write a letter about who he was and what he was doing. He was an executive and he traveled all the time. He was never there. That 25 years later, I'm sitting at an open house and in come these two guys. And this guy says, are you Debbi DiMaggio? And I said, yes. And he said, you rented me an apartment 25 years ago. I said, no way. And he proceeded to tell me the story about how I said, this is what you need to do. And so we ended up selling him a house and then reselling a house. I mean, it was just such a great story, but you just
you never know how things are going to play out.
You never know.
It's funny how a small relationship or a small interaction, it feels small to you at the time, but then 20 years later turns into something else. So
and that translated into 2 sales. So just doing what you do, helping people, and people will remember you by that.
Is that I mean, I've never heard of an agent helping with people relocate. It makes sense, but how does that work from a commission side? If somebody's getting
that's evolved over, that's really evolved. Back when I think we paid a 25-30%, we might have paid a 25 or 35% referral fee to the reload company. Now the same thing, but it's a lot more. I don't remember I haven't done that in so long, and it's not as streamlined as it was, but it's just a referral fee. So you pay the reload company a referral fee. So it's great. I mean, if you want to get into real estate, it doesn't matter when you're new, hook up with people would be like, oh, I have to give money. It's like, who cares? I'm meeting all these clients and selling houses. And then when you go to sell it another time, if they're not hooked up to a reload, there's no referral fee. So it's fine to give away referral fees. I mean, one of my biggest things is I love working with other realtors around the globe just because I love to work on referral back and forth. I love to pay referrals because I'm getting a bona fide, real client, not even a lead, like they're referring you someone. And so I'm happy to pay a referral fee, and likewise. It's just a great way.
Yeah, so it's a good model. If everybody's winning, then I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
All right. So I took a peek at the clock. We have been running it down, so we might have to move on here. But before we do, I noticed you have a number of books. Tell us about those.
Yes. So The Art of Real Estate is a very detailed book. It could be for buyers and sellers, but they kind of defer mostly, hopefully, to their agent. But it's a really good book for real estate agents to read, because it really talks about, it's not like there's a buyer chapter or a seller chapter or, a lending chapter. It kind of we all work together. I always, in my second book, 52 Ways to Achieve Success in Real Estate, I talk about the realtor is the captain of the ship, because that's the person who needs to disseminate all the information down to everyone else. So communication is super key in a real estate transaction. So those are 2 of my books. And then I wrote Contained Beauty, and then Beauty at Any Age, because age is just an attitude.
Perfect. I love it. And if people wanted to pick those books up, where would they go to find them?
They're on Amazon, and you can also go to DebbiDiMaggio.org, DebbiDiMaggio.org, and no E in Debbi, DEBBI.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to take that opportunity and move us on to the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. It starts with education. Could be a book, could be a documentary, could be a YouTube channel, whatever. I just need 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate specific.
Oh gosh. Real estate. I started listening to this guy on YouTube, and I cannot think, he's with Berkshire Hathaway, and he has some great rapid fire. It's on YouTube. I'll have to share it with you and text it to you. And then I love listening to so many people on YouTube. I have to go there real quick. It's not rapid fire, sorry.
It's all good. We
didn't expect that. I have so many people, so many people I listen to. I don't have it for you. It's not, there's so many people I listen to. I mean, one guy, like Evan Carmichael, is a guy I really like to listen to right now on everything. He's really great. Start there.
Okay, cool. Evan Carmichael.
Yeah, he's great.
All right. Next question is for your younger self. This is good for you. Think back to the time when you were, riding with your dad, going out to those strip centers. Think back to that Debbie. Go up to her, look her in the eye, give her one piece of advice moving forward.
Don't be a kid and sit back and like, this doesn't pertain to me. Get involved. I mean, we know that now there are a lot of kids who now get really involved from the beginning. We were kind of like, in my generation, we were like so much younger and not as, now the people, all everyone has all the young people are social media, and we have so much content coming at us, but just get involved and learn it. No matter what you're doing, suck in the information.
Yep, absolutely. All right, next question is about your business. The first three positions we hire form the foundation of our business moving forward. What were they for you, and would you hire in a different order if you did it again today?
Oh, on hiring people, or is that okay? They really have to be, well, communicative. They have to communicate. They have to return your call. I mean, we had someone we just hired someone we met with 2 weeks ago, and she said, okay, after the holidays, I'm coming in, it was all set up. She's going to meet with our office manager. The office manager calls and says, where are you? And she's like, oh, it's just got over the holidays. And we're like, oh my God, I can't, would you not show up to you're just not showing up? Like, that to me makes me crazy. Like, how could you do that and not even call? If you call, it's like, okay, something's come up. But I mean, follow through is so important. And so follow through, communication. I mean, things come up, but communicating is so important. Passion, you have to have passion, else you're not going to sustain. No way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, communication is super huge, especially it's only apparent when somebody is bad at communicating.
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody's not, and it doesn't mean like they have to be super affluent or use very, highfalutin words.
No,
But just as so long as
could be 2 words, or you just like, can we reschedule?
Yeah. Just make sure that the point is delivered. That's all that.
Yeah.
All right, next question is about the US. It's a big place, a lot of opportunity out there. Thinking with your investor hat on, what is the metro you're most excited about investing in today?
I would say it seems like Iowa. I always get Idaho and Iowa mixed up. I'm from California. Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Is there any specific city within Iowa, or
no, I have a referral. Is it? Oh my gosh. Iowa, Idaho. I guess it must be what's universe? Oh, I'm blanking on this. I think it's Iowa. We
can use them both, Iowa and
yeah.
Idaho.
No, it's Idaho. Yes, there's a lot. I have an agent there that I've been referring. So I have someone, we're actually writing on a lot in Los Angeles today, but I referred him to someone in Idaho because there's a lot of opportunity there. We have a friend he started buying property when his kids were in school there. That's another thing for people, if their kids are going to college, to consider investing as a freshman. So the kids can live there, and you can also collect rent and then maybe keep it long after and rent it out.
Yeah. And you can do what I wish I would have done was bought a property and then rented out the rooms, done the by room thing. I've heard so many people that have come on this podcast who said when they were in college, they bought a property, rented out room by room. I was like, God damn,
I know.
I wish I did that.
I wanted to do that in Colorado and Boulder, where our kids went to school, but they didn't want to live where we were looking to buy. Of course, they wanted to live, up on the hill.
All right, next question is about it's about finding deals, but we're gonna change this one up for you since you are more on the agent side. We're gonna say, what is the best way to find new sellers who want to sell the property?
Yes. So what I like to do, and starting in the new year, like I do every year, I start trying to get organized before I get too busy in the year. Right now, what I like to focus on are people who lived in their homes 20 years or longer. So work with a title company to do a search and find who's lived in there 20 years or longer, because those people probably will be considering a sale at some point down the road. And there are different tools, different title companies have different tools. speak to the title company. If you're an agent or an investor, you can be an investor. You don't have to be just an agent. Call your title company and say, do you have a program, which Chicago Title has a program like that, and they can tell you who's most likely to sell.
Yeah, I mean, and you can get that stuff off like Property Radar. Just there's tons of different platforms out there that pull that data out of. So 20 years, that makes a lot of sense, because those people, they probably have almost 100% equity, maybe 80% equity in their property, and so they're ready to sell and ready to get out of there.
Yeah.
All right, next question is about lessons learned. Not every deal that we get into goes the way we expect. Sometimes a wrench is thrown into there and deal goes a little bit sideways, but in those opportunities are great lessons that we can take to our next deal. So what is a deal that went a little bit sideways for you, and what was the lesson you pulled from it?
Pick up the phone. Don't hide behind text. Don't hide behind email. Pick up the phone. It's so amazing. I mean, we all know this. You pick up the phone and you start having a conversation. You hear the inflection. You hear what the issue is behind. I'll give you an example. I was working on a deal, and I know the agent, she's a nice person, but she wouldn't pick up her phone. So I had to call her broker, who's a friend of mine, and say, I don't know what's going on. She won't pick up the phone. I'd like to work it through, but I just need a phone call. So when she finally called me back, we spoke. I got a whole backstory on her client and what the client had gone through, and her divorce and all this other stuff that was going on. And then she had a protective father, who was really concerned about her making this purchase. So I got to hear all the backstory. And not only that, I work between Northern and Southern California. The LA market is 1,000% different than the Northern California market, agent wise and mentality wise. When she told me that the dad of this gal who was buying a property of ours, when she said the father was from LA, I said, oh, I get it. In LA, they negotiate. Up here, we take everything as is. We provide all the reports and everything ahead of time. In LA, they negotiate, renegotiate. It's a whole different thing. So once she told me that, I said, oh, okay, I get it now. And then we were able to put the deal together. She didn't have to wait that long to pick up the phone. Had I known what was going on, we would have circumvented all of that.
Yeah. Just picking up the phone. It is so easy just to get kind of sit back in the email texting mode, just because it's a lot simpler. But really, there's so much loss in communication when you're not talking with a person, that can very easily be solved if you just pick up the phone and start talking.
Exactly. Communication is key.
Absolutely. That's the theme for this podcast. Communicate.
Yes.
All right, that leads us to the last question. This is for the listeners. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
They can go to my website, DebbiDiMaggio.org. They can also call me at 510-414-6777. I'm happy to have a conversation about investing or real estate, getting your license, joining my referral network. Once we start talking, you never know what will happen.
There you go. All right. Well, that wraps it up. Debbi, thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Thank you so much. Have a great new year.
Absolutely. And for everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me, Gabe, at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you guys want to support the show, just give us a like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.